Oh, what the fuck is that? Oh, hell no, girl.
Like, what is wrong?
Yeah, turn that shit off.
It's just distraction.
Huh?
Oh, you can hear it?
Yeah, they can hear that weird shit you playing.
Sorry.
You ain't sorry. Huh? I'll just keep on fucking with you. It's fucking my team so ass. Huh?
This game was decided a while ago, and that completion there officially inflated his passing numbers.
Bums a real asshole. Yeah, they're funny as hell. I just started reading chat. Oh my goodness.
So into Cardinal territory now. It's 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line.
Huh? Yeah. Hold on.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair.
What you say? Can you turn that down? Can you turn the TV down?
That's complete to Disley, the tight end. And he gets this. Gain of 13, it's a first down.
Oh, wow.
I'm blowing my shit. Yo, Nano, reach out to Jimbo, bro. He's saying he's something about he might not be able to play tomorrow or whatever. Just tell him you got something to do, and we'll do our session and you play him later.
Oh, wow. All right.
What up, hitter?
Not much.
Who all in chat right now?
Yo.
Craig, you here?
Yep.
All right, cool. Craig is hitter. Nano, Guns here.
Yep.
All right, Real Talk, episode 8, season 2, week 18. The last regular season week of our year 2, man. This year has been super exciting. Type your name in the comment section, and smash that like button, man. Please be one of those guys that do it and screenshot it. Let me know you one of those guys that support, man. Hit that like button and screenshot that shit for a kid. Mention you in Game of Thrones. The fuck Max want. Alright. Hot topics tonight, man. As we close out season 2 and get ready to go to the playoffs, we got a lot of things, to talk about. We got a whole bunch of things to talk about. Guys are fighting their ass off to get in those playoffs. Oh, God's an asshole. Got you, my nigga. All right, my bad with the theme music. Apologize. I apologize. I apologize with the theme music. All right, so once again, man, Young Camden, what's up, baby? You always on deck, my boy. And Maddie over there in the Stepchild League. What's up with you, cuz? All right, man, here we go. We got to go right to the playoff pictures and just see if anything changed since last week's situations. And as of right now, things have changed. Um, wow, the Cleveland Browns lose. We'll talk about that. But that loss put them in a game right now that's going to come down to 2 and 3 playing each other. You know, Nano and for the Patriots and Coach Jimbo for the Broncos, man, got to play each other, and that slides this number 15 5 team in the AFC is now the number 7 team in the AFC. So it's shuffled right now. So week 18 is very important for teams like the Broncos. I mean, teams like the Bills, Dolphins, and the New England Patriots. And before we go any further than that, I'm going to slide out and I'm going to go to standings because I'm going to show you how important this last week really is for guys. With that being said, all you guys that are playoff teams are fighting for the playoffs, I appreciate y'all hard work and how dedicated y'all are to the league. I mean, it takes, you know, in my opinion, the way, you know, I run my league. You know, guys gotta always say this, but guys gotta be intimate with your team, and you really gotta fight through and really be active to be relevant. And you know, as you can see, we got some guys we consider top players. They just not as active as they usually be. I don't know if it's because they losing, whatever the case may be. They're not as active, and you can see it through standings. You can see it through you know, through the play, how guys are going, man, all the way down to, you know, drafting and building your team. But in the AFC race right now, here we go. All right, so we still only have 3 teams that's locked into playoffs right now. The Ravens has locked down the first seed, and as of right now, they are the AFC number 1 team over in the AFC at 15-1. Broncos, they just got their division. They got a Y next to their name, so they won their division and for the 2nd year in a row. So the Broncos are AFC West champions once again. The Patriots are in the 3rd spot in the AFC right now, with the Chiefs being in the 5th spot. The 4th best team in the AFC record-wise right now, but the 5th spot because the Broncos are the number 1 seed, so they can't get a home playoff game. Chargers are in that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th spot. Jaguars are in the 6th spot. The Browns are in the 7th spot. But the Jaguars winning their division puts them in the 4th seed right now. So they won their division. It's over with 11-5. Shout out to Shoguns. Great season, man. 453 points scored, 368 given up, 6-3 home record. Look like a 5-2 away record. That's big time playing right there, man, especially when you're still coming up off of a young quarterback and a really young football team. I think Washington football team and the Jaguars are 2 of the top 5 youngest teams in the league. So for those guys to be, you know, playing and winning ball games and doing what they're doing right now, it's very impressive. All right, so the Browns are on a 2-game losing streak, and don't think that will not hurt them. I don't care who you beat. Madden don't never give us the right formula. We never know. But what I do know is going into a losing streak late can jeopardize your playoff shot right now. So now right now they're the 7th seed and they're hanging on by the hair of their chin. Dolphins on the 7-game winning streak, 10-6, with a big time game of the week against the Baltimore Ravens. We don't know. We got to talk to John Harbaugh and see what the Ravens is planning on doing. This game proves nothing for them at all. So, you know, for them to risk playing some of their starters all game long or even at all would be, you know, really up to John Harbaugh and how the team feel like going forward. The Bills are on a 3-game winning streak, and they also are 10-6. Outside of that, there's nobody else that's in the race whatsoever for the AFC playoffs. So it comes down to week 18. Dolphins win. I would love to say Dolphins win and they're in, but they need some things to happen. Bills as well. Both of those 2 teams need some things to happen. So it all comes down to the Patriots and the Broncos game. It also can come down to the Chiefs and the Browns game, but I just don't think they're playing opponents that are actively playing right this second. So I think they slide in no matter what because they get Week 18 wins. So I don't know how important that will be, but I will have to look at who the Chiefs play Week 18 and who the Browns play Week 18. So I'll go take a look at that real fast.
I'm over here.
I can see it on the front page. So it looks like the Browns
For the Jets.
are New York Jets who have shut it down. So it looked like that's a win for the Browns. And if I'm the Bills or I'm the Dolphins, I'm hitting the Jets up and telling him to play the Browns right now. He's home. He'll be getting home around this time. So I would do anything in my power to get that game played. And then the Chiefs, where the Chiefs at? They are
The Titans.
They play the Titans, and I will be rooting for Los. You know Los gonna play, so I'll be rooting for Los as well. But outside of that, it comes down to the Broncos Chiefs game, and even with that, it's going to be very hard to change their situation as well. The chances of the Patriots losing to the Broncos and then not being in the playoffs, I would think is slim. I think they will go to 6 or 7 before they will really go out of the playoffs. But then again, it's Madden as well. So it seems like if the Patriots, no matter what happens, the Broncos will take the number 2 seed no matter what. So really the Broncos don't even have to really play this game and care, unless he's just trying to knock a guy out of the playoffs or try to knock him out of the playoffs. Because no matter what, the Broncos got a 2-game lead over the next man to them. So even if the Broncos lost this game, it wouldn't change where they at. They'll sit at 2, and it could change the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Dolphins' life. Actually, the Chiefs only could change their situation if they lose to the Titans. So they locked in the 5th seed, no matter what, 5th or 6th seed, 5th, 6th, or 7, I would think. The Chargers, I don't know who they play coming down the stretch as well, but I don't think it's somebody that that really matters right now. So I don't think really too much is going to change. So we're really going to hang our hat on this Broncos Patriots game tonight. So that's important, man. Now, if the Dolphins and the Bills don't make the playoffs this year, I'm still saluting you guys for the work y'all put in all year long. There's not too many teams that can finish 11-6, 10-6, and not make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a really good record. You especially starting off 2-5 and then ending up 4 games over 500. That's big on a 7-game winning streak right now. So that's huge right now. The big momentum going into next season or going into the offs, no matter which way it go. I salute you. Shout out to Young Camden and shout out to Jay, Young Demon. Both finishing with over 500 and shot to win their division. And that's the crazy thing right here, because who knows what happens. They all split. If the Patriots lose, do they lose their shot at the division? So that, you know what, Guns, tell me am I missing something? They don't have nobody has this division yet. So this comes down to week 11 for them. I mean week 18 for them. If Nano loses this game, he loses the division. That means somebody, one of those two, Bills or Dolphins, could go into the playoffs, right?
It's possible. I'm actually in the AFC East because, you know, if in the event of a tie, you know, they'll start looking at other records. I know Madden still has their formula, but you're absolutely right. We don't know what Madden's going to do.
Yeah, we always think we know what the fuck Madden going to do or what they looking at, and we don't know. I think points scored play a big role too. You ever played a game, late game, when you in the playoffs and you blow a team out, and they say, they running a score up, they're putting it on them or whatever, and then you hear one of the commentators be like, "Well, I think they're vying for playoff position to score points." So I know that plays a part in it because the commentators wouldn't be saying that shit if it didn't. But I don't know. This is big, man. So I can't wait to see it play out. What I do know is this: there's nothing better than watching the league disbalanced to the point where we have to see what's going to happen after week 18. to figure out who wins this division. Um, a season ago, I wouldn't have said, even though we got a new coach on the Bills team, we talked about those three teams being able to win this division, any of them. And, new coach and all, that Bills team is still playing at a high level with the new coach. Some could argue they're playing better with the new coach. And these three teams over here are really duking it out right now. They fighting their asses off, making this division three deep. If we can get the Jets going, he will be active this season because of his work schedule changed for him, so he's back at it again. So we'll at least have we'll have 4 players playing for sure over here, and I think this division can start challenging the NFC East as a really good division at this point right now. And again, especially if the Jets can step up and step into the mix with these guys. This year the NFC East got 3 out of the 4 playing, but we know that 4th guy was the divisional winner last year. And over here it's 3 balling out for sure, and we just need some movement from the Jets and Coach Brian. So we'll see how that goes. All right. So as we talk about the topics that I want to get into tonight, not planning on doing a super long show. We just want to get through some things that we wanted to conversate about right now. So the first thing we're gonna get into, man, we gotta go back to both those games of the weeks. Man,
great games.
Guns, man. Last night we got to watch the Eagles and the Giants go at it. Let me get your mind state on that game. Like just the energy of it, how your thought process on it.
I mean, it was a highly anticipated matchup. I mean, from the, if you just go to week 16, from the time that they finished their prospective matchups for that week, they were already in the media, talking about the game the following week. And the trash talk was flying.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't in a disrespectful way. They were just like, it's time. They were just hyped, and they didn't disappoint.
Right. I think, me personally, they this matchup from the first one, because you got to think about it, their first matchup came down to a glitch field goal, extra point, which kind of turned the game. And they was rocking out, and I think that hung over the Eagles' head. I lost this game because the fucking, a double line, the fucking connection got fucked up or somehow, some way on that extra point. And I think that taste was left in his mouth. And at the same time, I think the Giants was on some like, you're not gonna take my win away from me off the glitch. Shit happens. Connection not always the best all the time, but things happen. I never know how the servers are, but you're not gonna take away my win. So now I'm coming into this next game to show you that shit wasn't no fluke, and it's going to go down when we see each other, right? Simple as that. But what made this game very, very, very strong as a game of the week is because the marbles was on the line. At the end of the day, the winner of this game put themselves in first place for the division. Simple as that. They will damn near crown themselves, right? So you got the Giants that we'll get into who won this game, but then they got week 18. They still got a good game week 18, depending on if the Jaguars are content to try to throw a wrench in the game, or they gonna sit their players and get them ready for the playoffs, right? And then the Eagles got to go to the mighty Bears, the Super Bowl champions, to win that game in hopes that the Jaguars can upset the G-men and still have a shot to win that division. And it's crazy because the Giants swept them, right? The Giants swept the Eagles, but you never know with Madden how this thing could play out if those scenarios end up landing the way I said. So if the Giants lose to the Jaguars and the Eagles beat the Bears, it's possible that even with 2 losses to the Giants, Eagles gonna end up winning that division, because we don't know how Madden looks at things or what they actually looking at to determine what, right? So that was very interesting. But like, it was at times we had 13 people viewing at one time, and I always tell people when it's 13 watching, that means we somewhere between 23 actually watching at that same time, 23 to 30. So and then it was over 100 comments in the comment section during the game, and that's facts. Like it really went over 100 comments. So guys were really tuned in, and you heard all types of talks. You heard the two all-star teams playing each other. This is all-star weekend. You heard things like that. You heard the pull away is over. Saquon about to carry the ball 12 times. Every time the Eagles look like the Giants are going to put the game away, the Eagles come screaming back, and then we all over and under and how many carries Saquon going to get to close this shit out or to stop the comeback, or however the thing went. It was very exciting, bro. And as a commissioner, that's all you want. You want to be able to realize how balanced your league really is as a whole, and that games matter. Week 17, from week 13 to week 18. And then you got the Eagles playing the Bears right now. They're locked and loaded. We'll keep y'all posted while y'all are that's still watching the show. We'll keep y'all posted to what's going on in that game, because that's a big time game as well right now. Week 18. That's the set off right now. That's the first game being played. But let's attack some of this game and what we saw in this game. Guns. Got to get down to the G-men and the Eagles. So the Giants fly to Philadelphia. One spot that the Giants fans don't want to be is in Philadelphia. Philadelphia got some of the ignorantest fans on the planet when it comes down to sports. Period. These guys you can't even come in that stadium with another jersey on without something going down. They get drunk, they wildin', they enjoy their team, they ride out for their team, and I mean, it's so bad they got a damn jail system inside their stadium. So that tells you what we going down when you come to dirty Philly. They not playing that shit. They on some bullshit in there. And the Giants had to come in and really make a statement in this game right here, man. So you got a 49-42 ball game. And it came down to the wire. Last drive, interception from the young Von Teller. But 553 total offensive yards gained from the New York Giants. And the Eagles swung around with 614. Was this good football or no defense being played?
It was
159 offensive rushing yards to 103. The run game wasn't super OP, but it was effective enough on both sides. And I'm gonna talk about both sides in their run game in a second. 394 offensive passing yards. The Eagles threw for 511 yards in this game. Guns. What's going on out here?
I mean, these are two teams that know each other very well, so they were prepared. You can't say there was no defense. I mean, well, there were plenty of turnovers in the game, but these coaches, they come from the same coaching tree. They came under the same the same tutelage. So like I said, there's almost no other two teams that know each other better. It's almost like, two brothers fighting each other. You know all they moves. You know what swing is coming before the other brother even swings. So it was a great game to watch.
Yeah, I agree, bro. This game was off the hook. So what you saw was a 14-0 first quarter when it comes down to the New York Giants. They went up 14-0. And then in the second quarter, it was a swing, 21-14. The Eagles scored 21 points, and they were down 7 at halftime. Now let's talk about the run game. We saw the Eagles go up 14, and then the Giants went up 14. I apologize. The Giants went up 14, right? And then we saw the Eagles come right down, score, make it a 14-7 ball game, right? Or was it 21-7 at one point? I think it was. Am I correct? 21-7, and then they made it 21-14, and then the chat went off. Saquon about to get 12 carries or more, blah blah blah, and he put the drive together where Saquon carried the load all the way down to the red zone, and on that drive it was an all Saquon drive and 2 pass plays, a drag and a drag. Other than that, it was the Saquon show. So we saw the power of Saquon Barkley and the offensive line, especially manned by Ronnie Stanley over there, man. Nice little trade. Another thing. The other thing we saw the two traded weapons go crazy. We saw the 4. We saw DK Metcalf go nuts. We saw DeAndre Hopkins go nuts. We saw Russ go nuts. Danger Russ went nuts, and we saw Deshaun Watson going nuts. in this ball game. But Guns, talk to me about the big play players that they traded for. The battle between D Hop and DK Metcalf.
I mean, they came in and did everything that they were advertised for. Every specialty, everything that makes them special showed up in this game. I mean, every single time either one of them needed to be, I don't want to say bailed out, but if their quarterbacks got in trouble, they knew exactly where they could turn to and get rid of the football. And they knew that they were not going to be put in harm's way. They knew that player was going to get position. There's nobody bigger and faster than DK Metcalf, and there's nobody that got the hand strength of a DeAndre Hopkins. So
Right.
they were every bit as advertised.
And you saw both these quarterbacks trust their receivers. They trusted their playmakers in this game. Now Miles Sanders, his numbers don't show how important he was on that game, because when the game got ugly and we thought the Eagles would be throwing the ball, they actually went to the shotgun and they ran a lot of inside zones, and they went through Miles Sanders to bring the beat back, to get him with back in 7. They went through him. He didn't score, but he was vital on that one drive that put them back down 7. And that's why I said we'll talk about both the running backs. Saquon did Saquon things. 20 carries, 136 yards, 6.8, 1 touchdown. Now his average per carry was down, but his production was good enough to be able to keep these Giants in control of this ball game when things really got shaky, right? They were able to turn to him, and he would get them a first down or two every drive. That was super important. But when you look at these receivers, man, we seen guys grow up in this game. Kadarius Toney, I thought he grew up and showed he's here to play too. 2 catches, 148, 2 touchdowns. Now, Guns, let me ask you this. Was it more of DK Metcalf being such a fucking presence like that Kadarius Toney showed off? Because it's not like the Eagles aren't on the field with 2 really good safeties and 2 shutdown corners.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, you have to be a fool to think that DK is not going to get all of your attention. And as he got the attention, Kadarius was able to, to slide in there and he gave the Eagles all kind of problems. I mean, with big boy runs.
Man, we saw a lot of running after the catch, my guy. Rack. Look, run after the catch average 60.5. I mean, think about that. 2 catches, 148 yards. This guy averaged 74 yards a catch. 2 touchdowns, 121 rack yards, 60.5, as long as it was 75. He showed up, and you're right. You paid so much attention to what DK can do. You know what I mean? Your safety help is over the top of DK. He's one-on-one, and he made the Eagles pay for it, being there one-on-one. But the guy that really became a problem for the Giants was the tight end Dallas Goedert. He started tearing that seam up with him. Scoring a big touchdown, 3 catches, 61 yards, 20.3 yards a catch, and a touchdown as well. He did his thing too. John Ross put in work too, 2 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. It was just big plays, man. So that just tells me it was a lot of man-to-man being played for these guys to be catching and running like that. It wasn't nobody else to dare to make the tackle. Again, when you shifting your coverage to that kid DK, who also had a big day. Just 3 catches, wasn't super productive. They didn't ask him to catch the ball all game long. They asked him to be special when you do catch the ball. 3 catches, 169, 56.3, and 2 touchdowns. And then Heisman, Devontae Smith, man, these guys went off. So again, I ask you this: like, they both got good secondaries, both got good defenses. Did the defense not show up in this ball game?
Well, it's not that. Their assignments are extremely difficult. Like you mentioned, Goddard, being able to catch seam passes, in the middle of the field. But it's
Right.
because those linebackers, they have to take an extra look just to see what Deshaun Watson is doing. And then that one little extra second when they're taking that extra peek, Deshaun was able to get the ball over their heads to the tight end, and the tight end was very effective. So on both sides of the ball, because you have to pay extra attention to those quarterbacks because they have mostly facets to their game. They're not just passers. They can move around the pocket. They can scramble. They can hurt you in different ways. So it's almost like giving extra assignments to your linebackers. It's almost not unfair to them. And that's the reason why the box score looks the way it does.
Right. Now, Guns, I say this, man. Like I said, you saw big plays all over the field, and guys stepped up and played. I don't think the defense did not show up. I just think these two teams know each other so well, and they wanted it so bad. It was nothing but explosions everywhere, man. And to be honest, with the type of weapons that's on the field with this team, you got to be able to play some man-to-man. And when they sat in zones, that shit got picked apart. When they went man-to-man, if they beat their man, it was lights out. See you later. All over the field. Defensively, though, if I was to give somebody the defensive MVP of the game, you look over here, and Von Teller, the young rookie, came to play in this game. He's calling him the best rookie linebacker in the league right now. 10 tackles. He had an interception in this game as well. Dory Jackson stepped up and had 2 INTs too. And the other linebacker, the young first-year linebacker from Louisville, Etheridge, also played well in the free agency pickup, had an INT in this game as well. You know, the game changer was it was a big third down. The Giants ran slants. The user was right in the middle of that slant, missed the pick, and DK took that thing to the crib, and that was like kind of the game changer. But it still came down to the Eagles with the ball, down a touchdown, driving, and got all the way down to the red zone to take a shot in the end zone, which Von Teller ended up picking off. And even on that last drive, I thought, you know, at that point, it was one too many times going to the well because he went to the seam route, and that's the one thing I think they was taking away. I think he could have played on the outside. Do you think he should have gave DeAndre Hopkins a shot to win that game, or did he make the right decision going to the tight end even though it got intercepted?
I could see why he would want to go to the tight end because he was so successful with it, but you know, that's almost like, you know, you not passing the ball to, you know, Steph Curry, you know, to
take the last shot, right?
Right. But we also got to remember, prior to that, the biggest mistake that was made in the game not only was the missed interception, but it was the Deshaun Watson throwing the ball away and he was still inside the tackle.
Right, remember that? Yeah, that was big. They received
a big penalty for that, loss of down. So instead of him having 2 opportunities at a score, it took him directly to 4th down. He had 1 opportunity.
Off air, you made a point earlier today too with the Giants. The Giants could have put the game away if they just ran the ball and managed the clock well. I thought they had a bad, you know, possession where they threw that interception and they almost lost the game off of it, or got the game tied to go into overtime because they didn't really use the clock management. They didn't use their run game. They were still throwing the ball and they had no business throwing it. So again, and that's probably, you know, these guys playing each other so much, not being safe and trying to pit it away. If you thinking you're the Giants, you're aggressive on offense like that to pit it away instead of being conservative, you know what I'm saying? And then the Eagles made him pay for it. They got the interception and then almost tied that ball game up. This was a hell of a ball game for one of the games of the week. It was actually one of the most watched games of the year, especially the most commented game. Everybody was in that chat commenting all crazy on this game. They did their thing though, man. Shout out to the Giants for the win. Shout out to the Eagles for putting on a hell of a ball game, man. Like I said, they've been playing at a high level all year long. Now we're going to the next game, the other game of the week that just happened, the game that had a bet placed on it. Pick the winner, get an upgrade, right? And that was against the Browns and the Chiefs. Guns, do we give Rich the Barber credit for winning this game, or do we blame it on Boone for losing this game?
Well, I mean, you can't take a victory away from anybody. But we also have to look at the Browns and look at the way that they approached this game, and they had opportunities to put the game away, and it just seemed like they were more interested in, you know, showmanship, making it look pretty.
Pinning it on him, playing an opponent that he think he's superior of, and he doesn't respect them. Again, it comes back down. I mean, the decision to go for it on 4th down like that, and with the game on the line like that, usually can get a coach fired, in my opinion. That was bad coaching down the stretch. That was arrogant coaching down the stretch. That was pretty much being an asshole down the stretch and saying, fuck you, I'm putting it on you. Simple as that. It don't really get explained no other way than that, because you kick a field goal, this game over, we're not having the same conversation, because that 4th down play got intercepted and changed the entire game.
Can we
But
see how
unpopular
many?
opinion, maybe it's just Boone play style not made for the late game, close game situation. I agree, definitely. But he sold.
How
He
many
definitely sold.
carries did Chubb have?
And that's another thing. Your best player only gets the ball in games that matter to him. The coach. The coach really doesn't get his best player the ball.
How many carries?
I mean, if you think about this, right? If you dig into it, Hilaire carried the ball 23 times for 149 yards. Give me a second. Almost burnt myself the fuck up in this bitch. Time to get a new microphone too. Y'all there? Can y'all hear me?
Christmas coming up.
Oh yeah.
That shit, my
Yeah,
microphone. So listen, if you go through the history of the Browns all year long, any team that they played that carried the ball 20 or more times either gave them a really good football game or won the ball game. Hilaire, 23 carries, 149 yards, 6.5, 2 touchdowns. I knew the reason why I said I'm picking Rich, but I think Boone will win to you, Guns, was I knew Rich would give his running back the ball 20 times or more, right? And I know, it comes down to Rich playing smart or dumb at the end, and he did exactly what he's known to do. I had a talk with him before they played this game, and his comments to me was, I'm in every game. I could play with these guys, but I end up, losing focus and throwing interceptions late and things like that, and I end up losing the ball game. Well, he did exactly that. Started turning the ball over, where I think maybe he could have still ran the ball with Hilaire because he was popping for 6.5 yards a carry. So he still was there to do it. We saw the Browns offense. We saw, the tight end effect on how he does things, but I think he went to that well one too many times. And, I don't know. It was weird down at the end. I don't understand how the Browns don't put this game away. I mean, he said it on headset, I guess, because he, the Army got his attention because they're about to ship him out in a few months. But so maybe that's just the reason why. Huh?
Next month.
Oh, I thought he was coming to New Jersey next month, then going out. Well, I guess next month, November. Oh yeah, this is November. He do leave in December. So a lot of it is the fact that, being in Africa, who knows what type of connection he's gonna have, and he's gonna be working 6 days a week. He ain't gonna be able to play the game. You know what I'm saying? So their coach is probably gonna be done anyway. So, that could have played a role in it, and what's going on. But I know the competitor he is. I don't think he was planning on losing this game or didn't care if he lost this game. I think he got arrogant at the end, and instead of putting the game away, he decided to try to put it on Rich, and Rich stayed steady the way he do, and was able to create the turnovers late to change the momentum of this ball game. Nick Chubb touched the ball 8 times, 52 yards. I mean, he's averaging 6.5. He scored 2 touchdowns. But again, this coach doesn't use Nick Chubb the way he should use Nick Chubb. When he uses him when he feel like using him. And hey, that's his offense. That's what he want to do. Shout out to him. But Nick Chubb wins this ball game for him. Period. I don't think that, if he's giving Nick Chubb the ball, he don't got a 35 carry Nick Chubb, but if he gives him the ball, he's in a situation where he wins this ball game.
If you give him the ball 20 times, 25 times, he'll be all right.
I heard him on his broadcast a lot screaming, "We shutting Tyreek Hill down. He gonna have to go to Nicole Hardman." He said, "Nicole Hardman gonna have to beat me. We shutting Tyreek." That boy, he frustrated. He only got 2 catches for 21 yards. He frustrated. He called out his stats. But on the flip side of that, while you're calling it out and telling the Chiefs what he got to do, he did that. McCall Hardman had 8 catches for 214. He was the Tyreek Hill of the day. Period. 26.8 yards a catch and a touchdown. So you did your job with taking Tyreek out of the game, but Hardman didn't get taken out of the game, and he made the Browns secondary pay for that. 10.6 yards after the catch, 67 was his longest, and he made him pay for it. We saw the Wes Welker second sight in 5 catches, 137 and a touchdown. Schwartz 5 for 85. A lot of that was jet sweeps. They took Schwartz out of the game. He couldn't get a deep ball off too much with him. I think he did get one, but he couldn't get the deep shots that he was looking for. And even the jet sweeps wasn't overpowering with Schwartz like it was. He got held to not get.
I think he got him open and then he got underthrown or something like that. Something happened.
A lot of that roll out because it's the shot play. It's roll out, shot play, or wait for the tight end to come screaming on the tight end delay. Hooper finally catches 83 yards, with a 53-yard delay being the longest in that game. Do we start paying attention a little bit more to Rich the Barber and give him his credit, or you know, he's for real? I mean, he made his he went into the playoffs. He's in the playoffs, right? And he had to play a game. We called it. You got two out of you got to win one out of these two games you playing, Browns or the Cardinals. He gave Cardinals a run for his money yesterday, and then he turned around and beats the Browns to keep himself in the mix. Not only did he go from the 6th seed, drop down to the 5th seed, he's one win away from moving himself up in the seedings and playing the 4th seed Jaguars. So do we give Rich Barber his credit, right? We got to give him his credit.
Absolutely.
He made the playoffs last year too, so I mean,
yes, sir.
he doing it on like right now. You can say he doing it kind of on a consistent basis right now. I mean, if he come in next year, you got to think about it. He gonna make himself one of the top guys in the league if he keep making the playoffs and having a positive record.
Funny thing is Guns said you keep hanging your hat on Rich the Barber, huh? You starting to see why now, Guns? Or you still think I'm, you know, giving him too much credit?
My opinion hasn't changed yet.
Your opinion hasn't changed? Oh, well, guess what? Them Jaguars might end up seeing them Chiefs in the first round of the playoffs. Is that the game you want, honestly?
Still won't change anything.
Still won't change shit. Don't matter at all. Oh. All right, so that was our games of the week. Both of them things was exciting, man. It's funny though that the whole league betted on Boone and lost. Simple as that. So shout out to the Seahawks for picking the Chiefs to win this ball game by himself in the chat, by his lonely, right? Good shit. I also picked the Chiefs though. Fuck that. I'm not trying to hear that shit. But you know what? Ant don't need no gift because I didn't put it in the chat, so I wouldn't do that, right? But Guns, I did pick the Chiefs though, right? Nah, you don't think you don't agree with me? Did I pick the Chiefs? Nah, dog. Did I pick the Chiefs? Did I pick the Chiefs? Or do I throw it away because I said I'm picking Rich the Barber the Chiefs, but Boone gonna win? So that's not really a real pick, right? Yeah. So shout out to the Seahawks. Harold, the only one picked the Chiefs. He will be getting his upgrades. I got you, my boy, in a second or two. All right, let's get to our debate segment right now, man. No more music. Just me versus Guns in this conversation right now, man. No more games and stats and all that shit. Just me versus you. Our debate segment will be the 49ers. All right, that's the first and foremost thing. We are going to talk about the 49ers to close this thing out. So, as we talk about the 49ers, let me get over here and look at some of the 49ers situations. We'll go to stats and awards, and we'll go right to their team from there, from stats. So, Guns, the first question will be, will they get back to a top-tier player, the 49ers? Because right now, they're not playing up to, you know, we had a debate over the NFC and the AFC, and Falk talked about the 49ers as, you know, damn near a top 10 player, but he hasn't lived up to that since season one or two. He hasn't really lived up to any of that right now. So let's debate. Wherever you go, I go opposite. Do the 49ers get themselves back to a top tier player? I mean,
I don't know. I really don't know. This is not 21. Just, you know, it's a new disc. There's similarities, but you know there's differences as well. And you know some guys have adjusted well, some guys have not. But I don't think that I don't think the 49ers was intimate with his team year one. I you know, and I don't know how intimate he's been in year two, to be honest. I don't. So I really don't know. I don't know if it's a work schedule. I don't know if it's just a conflict thing or whether it was just draft position. But I don't. He's active. You know, he's active in the chats. He's active on the show, but
he active enough playing games, but not really. I was going to say the same thing. He's active enough, but not enough. But I do think this. I think the next question will really start our debate. But I think I'll go with he can get back to a top tier player. But it's going to be a lot of things that got to happen over here for that to happen. Um, so in the argument of yes or no, can he get back to a top tier player? You really don't know, right? It's kind of hard to say yeah or no. If things are going the way it is right now, and I think that he's, bro, things can slip past you. He came into it with one of the better teams on the game, and the play is not showing up to it. And a lot of us, he went on vacation, so he's missing a lot of games. That's the first thing, first and foremost. And you're in the process of trying to build the Trey Lance, who was a rookie quarterback in year one. Um, and you got to get this guy built, and you're not spending the time with your team to get these guys built. I don't know what his plan is, how what is he planning on doing with these guys going forward or what, but the first question to our debate segment is so iffy. It's almost like him. He play, we never know when he's going to be super active or engaged. We do know he watch all the shows and he's in the chat all day long with us, but just playing wise right now, we don't know who he is right now. So we'll go right to the second question. And my thing is, does this team fit the coach? This is a big question right here. Does this team fit the coach?
Well, from what I've learned, this is he's an actual 49ers fan,
Right,
and a lot of times your play style and your team are not the same.
right.
Um, I found that to be true. Early Madden years, playing with Baltimore Ravens,
You see
in
that
other
shit?
leagues, is different, and the 49ers aren't
All
built
that
to play
space,
the way
and he
that
throw it downfield.
Juicer, likes to play. It doesn't fit his style.
No, it doesn't. This team does not fit him. It didn't fit him the moment he got it. And here's why. I played this guy twice a season. Young Camden played him twice a season for 10 straight seasons. So we know what type of team he needs to be successful with. The only piece that I thought fit was the tight end, Kittles. And even with Kittles, he still ain't doing, what he can do with tight ends, having that type of weapon. The receivers are not his style of play whatsoever, right? Trey Lance can be his top quarterback.
I lost by
Um,
3,
who you played?
4.
Ooh. All right, so Trey
They
Lance.
ain't knocked you out the playoffs, did it? No,
Nah, they gonna nah, he good. So Trey Lance is
started
a
off
good
crazy.
quarterback
He
to
ran the
have.
kickoff back at the beginning of the game.
Is a good quarterback to have over there, and I think anybody can build with a Trey Lance. You come into the league with one of the fastest athletes, one of the fastest running backs at the running back position, if not the fastest running back on the game. But to me, that wasn't intriguing for this type of coach. I don't think this coach is good at running the ball or really stands out with a runner. He had Nick Chubb and real draft, and in that and real draft, Nick Chubb was like an average running back over there. So having that type of speed really didn't amuse me. So I didn't think that something that would have stood out. And that's one of the main reasons why you get the 49ers to have that type of speed at the running back position. And then when you go look at the wide receivers, they just don't fit what he like to do. He don't have any 50-50 receivers on his team. They drafted X Factor and Trayvon Franklin, but he's a 5'11". He's just like the rest of these receivers over here. So they don't have the type of receivers that can go win a 50-50. They really like gadget receivers, jet sweep guys, RPO type guys, and that's not his style. So the team does not fit him, and he already wasted a draft class not building the team to fit him. But I do think he can make up for it. This next draft, this next off season, but until he get the right pieces offensively that fits the way he play, I don't think nothing's going to change. I don't think he's going to be able to show us he's a top tier player at all over here. And I think the words that came out of Falk mouth when it came down to who's the better side, AFC, NFC, the 49ers is kind of slowly, not even slowly, he's kind of falling out of that conversation of being able to be called one of the top guys on a game. He got a team that's his favorite team, but the team don't fit him or with the scheme they doing over there. And I think that's the reason why guys are able to beat this guy right now. And until he get really, really active and fix it through GMing all 4 phases of the game, and that 4th phase is the GM phase. Until he can fix that, his team through that, He in a situation, and the more time that go by, you trying to put young pieces over this team to change your culture and your style, the harder it is going to keep up with those guys that are top tier players in the league. What do you think, Guns?
Absolutely. No, it's, I mean, I don't mean anything by it, but that's no debating that. The one thing that you wanted to do was you had a young quarterback in their rookie season where you
Oh
could have
hell
taken
no.
advantage of, opportunities at rookie of the year because, nobody
Whole team yellow.
touches the rock as much as the quarterback does. So he had an opportunity to,
Fuck.
maybe grab some awards, grab some XPs, do things with his coaching staff points that really could have elevated the play of his quarterback and really invested in his quarterback, and he missed out on that opportunity.
I agree. When it comes down to the third question and the final question for this team, four phases how they doing. So if we want to grade them in the four phases how they doing, we start with the on-field play. Um, it's average right now at best. Um, that's the offensively average at best. Defensively average at best. Um, the personnel offensively just doesn't fit his style. I'm not gonna call it average or anything like that. It just doesn't fit his style what he got on the field. Um, like little things, like and just to be smart. Like I told him, yo, I got a receiver that fit what you like to do over there. 6'4", big body receiver. Let's make a trade. My receiver for yours, plus I'll give you some draft picks type shit. And he stayed with the 5'11" guy who doesn't fit his style. And let's look at him as a rookie, 65 catches, 917. 57.3 yard average, 8 touchdowns on the season right now. Not, I'm not mad at those numbers, right? Or you can't even. But George Kittle, he finally got George Kittle going. 88 catches, 1283, 9 touchdowns. But outside of that, the numbers drop tremendously. And obviously, you're gonna get this rookie the ball because he came out on X Factor. At the time, I didn't know that when I was asking for him, but he came out on X Factor. But he's nothing more than a slot receiver that you're asking to be a number one or number two. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have that type of the type of weapons you need to really be successful, especially with a team like the Cardinals sitting over there. And then everybody in NFC that can play, these guys they're built. He hasn't made no splash moves yet or done anything to really counter what he needs to do to make this team relevant. And then when it comes down to the GM, and I think he missed the ball by missing the draft. Although the computer drafted pretty well for him, he still missed the ball because you don't get your players. The computer picks what they think they should
Right.
get. You don't get your players.
Hmm.
So he missed there. He kind of missed in the GM phases. And my thing is, I think he got to spend a hard look at his team right now, and really sit here and process what he's trying to do going forward. Because that's the only way he's going to better turn it around, by getting his type of players in the building and getting them grew up real fast. Simple as that. So really, I thought we would get into a huge debate, but we're not, because we're on the same page in this situation, because the 49ers at this point are not playing top tier football. They are not amongst the elites in the NFC right now, let alone the entire league right now. It's lazy GM and lazy coaching and only being able to do the bare minimum with your team because you're a bare minimum coach right now. You need to step your game up all the way to the top level that you can play at, and it starts now in season 2. What you going to do? And here's the franchise guru, Shoguns. I told you we wouldn't be long on the late night whispers, but we want to just put some bugs out there, plugs and all that shit, and hopefully spark a fire under Drew. Right now, Drew playing like Doo-Doo Brown and not Drew Brown. You heard? Holla at me.